need to do this. I need to do that. And I need to do this. Uh-huh. AJ, you showing, you're receiving this now?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, awesome. Okay, so we're going to broadcast live on Facebook. How about YouTube?
I'm checking it.
Okay. AJ, I do get a feedback on yours.
I just heard a little bit feedback on yours.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Okay, well, let's try this. I didn't get a feedback on that, so I feel better already. All right, everybody. So, Silvia Mozer, this is today we have our mastermind with Neil Schwartz, where we get together a couple times a week. We talk to great agents across the country, get some information about what's going on, what's working, what's not working, what's happening with this COVID-19 in their marketplace, and really importantly, try to get into their head and understand the mindset. Because as we know on a daily basis, it's really all a mindset. Attitude, approach, and expectation. Attitude, approach, and expectation. And when that's gone, then we got to get back to attitude, approach, and expectation. So, all right, so here's what we're going to do. Silvia, tell us a little bit about you and your marketplace, kind of a Reader's Digest version so we can get a feel for it and use that as a launching point, okay?
Okay. Well, I moved here from Brazil 18 years ago, became an agent 16 years ago, and have been with Mike Ferry in the last 13 years. So when I moved here, I barely spoke English. So the scripts totally made sense for me. It was a very great help to be part of Mike Ferry group. My market here is pretty much tech and defense company. We are #1 tech company in Florida. So we have the SpaceX, which is Elon Musk, we have Northrop Grumman, Harris Corporation, and several other companies here that make our county a very good real estate. We have very good real estate activity here. We haven't had a lot of downturns other than 10 years ago, because we had so many investors speculating in our area. But it's been very good so far.
Oh, that's great. Excellent. So what you're telling me is you got your license about 16 years ago. You met Mike Ferry about 13 years ago. And between getting your license and going to work with Mike Ferry, I mean, where did you get your business? How did your business come about?
I pretty much worked with buyers. I didn't have any other way to. I didn't even know how to take listings. I had no idea what to do. So what I did back in the days, I would go to those Homes and Land magazine, and they had some leads there, and I would call them. So it still was kind of like a prospecting way. I was calling those people and see when they would come to town. I ended up selling my first piece of real estate in 8 days in real estate. And in 14 days, I ended up selling my second piece. And in the first 7 months of real estate, I ended up selling 13 transactions, actually, because I kept calling people, and I didn't have any scripts.
So, and all of these people were pretty much buyers, correct?
Buyers, only buyers. I only started working with sellers, I think it was 2008, maybe 1 year after I joined Mike. Until then, I I didn't know how to deal with sellers.
So how many, what was at your peak, how many buyer transactions?
I think I got to probably 22, 25, I think when it was 2008. And then I started transitioning to more listings, and learning my scripts and learning what to say definitely helped. And learning how to dial because I was afraid to dial. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. At one point, I went to prospecting school, I think probably 6 times in a year, because I just wanted to get rid of it. I just wanted to get rid of the concern, and I was so afraid of talking to people. And I said, I don't want to be afraid. And I feel that is the most paralyzing feeling, is to be afraid of something. And I don't like it. So I said, I'm going to do this until I get it. And it came to a point, I had the realization, I said, I know what I have to do. It's not a prospecting school anymore. This is me. I have to just dial. And after a while, even when I'm afraid, I have to keep dialing until I set the appointments. And that's when I started dialing and transitioning from buyer's agent to listing agent.
Got it. And so as you started to transition, and you were doing less buyers and more listings, correct?
No, at the very beginning, I was not, I was trying to get as many business opportunities I could, either buyers or sellers, whatever. I was not, I didn't think I was that busy. I felt like I really wanted to go back to work because I ended up becoming a real estate agent because of a lack of option. I tried everywhere applied everywhere, retail stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, grocery store, whatever. Nobody would give me an opportunity because I was new in the country. So I became a real estate agent. So it's, that's how it ended up happening.
So that's interesting. So you couldn't find a job because of a language issue? Was that it?
No, because of my lack of background history.
So you didn't have any experience?
I had never lived in this country before. So when they looked at my Social Security, they couldn't find anything. So they wouldn't hire me.
Got it. So you didn't have a Social Security card at the time?
No, I had. But when they looked at that number, there was nothing, no credit report, no nothing, right?
I see.
So they wouldn't give me anything. They wouldn't give me an opportunity for a job.
Okay. So and you needed to work, correct?
I wanted to work desperately. I was going crazy.
Did you have a family at the time?
Yeah.
Kids?
Yeah, one son.
One son. Wow. So how old was he?
He was 2.
Wow.
2 years.
Okay. So you started the real estate business because you didn't have any options. You applied for the real estate license. It was English English was your second language, clearly. So you had to learn. I can't tell you how impressed I am, generally speaking, with people that come to this country that English is their second language. They have to learn the language. They have to learn to take the test. Understand the contracts that were 99% in English.
Yeah.
And then like in your case, there's 17 transactions in your first 8 or 9 months.
Yeah, it was 13 transactions by 7 months of real estate, but I had sales background.
Got it.
I had sales background, so I loved selling. That was something that I liked, and I think when you come in the position of really trying to help people, I think people see the difference and they're willing to work with you, even if you are not very experienced.
Great, excellent. Okay, so you shifted gears and you started learning the scripts and dialogues and learning how to professionally sell through the Mike Ferry system. Okay. So how did your business progress from there in terms of number of transactions or gross income of the next few years?
Well, I have to say my number of transactions started really increasing after one of the prospecting schools that I attended. And I ended up switching coaches I ended up having my coach, Steve Powers, which made a total difference in my life. He's the one who really took all the negative things that I had, negative stories, and all the bad things that I had, the habits, bad habits, and he's the one who did this for me. And that's the reason why I grew so much in this business. There is absolutely no way I could have done it without him. It's really what helped me. So before, I was selling maybe 15 to 18 properties, and maybe I was at 22 and working many hours. Because when you work with buyers and you want to do the right thing, you're showing everything until they're happy. And with lack of experience, I didn't know how to ask questions. I just didn't know how to ask questions. What are the right questions to ask? And later on, I started learning how to do those things, and at the same time, learning how to take listings. So that's when, with the Mike Ferry system, learning the scripts and learning what to say it was key for me. I think that when you learn and you know what to say, your mindset is in a different place.
Yeah, your knowledge equals confidence, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So okay, so you started taking listings and selling at the same time. So how did the numbers start to build? What were the numbers?
I was starting to grow at least 20% every year. I could see that I was growing 20% every year. And if some of the years the numbers were the same, but the income was at least 20% better.
Okay, good.
So I remember talking to one of my friend, and she said to me, my goal is to make 100,000. When I make 100,000, I'm happy. And I'm thinking, gosh, I ended up making my first 100,000 when I was in the third year of real estate. I made my first 100,000. But then when I joined Mike, it was on the first year, I think the second year. The second year I made like 164, then 176, then it was 200, and then 250, and it started growing like at a much faster pace. Yeah.
So 2019, how many deals and what was your gross income?
So in 2019, I sold 91, I closed 85, and my gross income was 833,000.
Woo! Good
Just
job.
remember, our price point here is much lower. The average price range in my area is about 250. My average price range is about 350.
Okay. Got it.
Yep.
All right. So you shifted from doing 20 or so transactions way back when to last year doing 85, 90 transactions. What percentage were listings and what percentage were buyers?
65% listings, 35% buyers.
Got it. And do you have a team? Do you have a buyer's agent, or is this all Silvia's business?
No, it's all mine. I only have a team of staff. Like I use a transaction coordinator to handle my transactions, and I have a marketing coordinator. So she handles all my listings until the point it goes under contract. So once it goes under contract, the transaction coordinator takes over.
I think I know the answer to this with Steve Powers being your coach, but I suspect that you probably practice your scripts and dialogues every day.
Every day.
Every day. Okay.
Every
and
day.
You probably, of course, with Steve Powers as your coach, you probably prospect every day.
Every day.
Exactly. So even
I want him.
years, go ahead,
I
sorry.
want to be in his schedule, so I got to do my job.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's a great attitude. I like that. So what about the days you don't feel like doing this, Sylvia? Are there those days that it's just like, even before the COVID, there are days like that for you?
Oh yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, tell me
There's
about those.
days like that for me. Well, I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna do it every single day. If I don't feel like it, it's just not gonna. It's not gonna be of good use of my time if I'm gonna just dial and never have the intensity or the thought that I'm gonna get something done that day. So if I am not going to call somebody, I am going to learn something for my business. And
Tell me about that.
one of the things that I always strive to do is how or what can I do different that I can service my clients in a way that they're going to be 110% happy with me, and because of that their house will sell, or because of that they're going to refer me somebody. So I never have a day that I don't think about how I do my business better. So if I'm not 100% committed in terms of my intensity to prospecting that day, I am going to use that time to learn something very important for my business. So at the end of the day, I don't feel I lost that day. I feel like I learned something different, and that I can apply to my business.
Very interesting. Can you give me an example of something you've learned recently that you were able to apply?
Okay, so let's say before COVID-19, I was not 100% committed of calling my past clients like every so often. I have to admit, I think I'm a hunter. I like to contact expireds and for sale by owners. I feel like, well, they just bought the house. Why would they need me for? But um, sometimes it's so interesting. They stay in their house for 6 months and now they are thinking about something else. Why not call them? And I had situations where they were living there for a very short period and they wanted to sell. And with COVID, even the people that I had not contacted for a while, when I called them and I said, I just wanted to touch base with you and see how you are doing through all this problem with COVID. Just want to make sure you're safe and you're healthy. They were so happy to hear, and I received great referrals from those.
Wow.
Even people that I deal with, sales rep from builders, people that normally I don't talk, but I say I'm going to talk to those people. Maybe they're going to have some business for me. And I received great referrals, referrals that became listings that I already got sold. So yes, it's things that you want to stretch yourself and do something a little bit different. If something's not working, because with COVID, the first time I saw that this was happening, I started to panic. I started to think, wait a minute, this market is going to go into a different direction. If I don't do something proactive, I could become one of those agents that are not going to have any income. So what can I do different that I'm still going to have a lot of income and my business still going to keep going? And one of the things was really calling my past clients and sphere more like faithfully. That's what I started to do. And it really worked great. So doing something different.
So okay. So doing something different, thinking about where extra business can come from, doing something for the clients. So going back, so COVID was around mid-March here in California. Same thing in Florida?
Same time. Actually, I was vacationing in Park City, Utah. And it happened right on that week. We couldn't even ski. Actually, I skied for one day and then we couldn't do anything else. But it was a good time. I had time to rest and I had time to reflect about how to do my business better. I started to think about, what am I going to do when I come back? What are the steps I'm going to take? So I still had time to rest, but I was thinking about how to do this business better. And those are the things that how do I give clients better solution for this COVID? Like, let's say the 3D videos that everybody's starting to use. I've been using 3D videos for the last 5 years in all my listings. So providing really great customer service at that level, and those are the things that I've been talking to people. I said, look, I've been dealing with the 3D videos for a long time. I feel that that is a great service you provide anyways. Any buyer should be able to see those. So, but I wanted people to know. So I started talking to my past clients. I said, look, do you know how I present this type of homes? So even if you don't want to show it, there's no problem. We can show it virtually first. And they were very happy about it, because some people were so concerned about COVID that they didn't want to show the house. I said, there's no problem. We can show your house a different way. Just different things we were doing.
Got it. Okay. So what did you increase your prospecting during this time, during the COVID time? Did you increase your practicing? What shifted in that, if anything?
I increased my prospecting with past clients.
Okay.
That's what I did. I felt it was very important, because everybody feels it's, when you haven't touched base with some of those people for many years, you think, what are you going to talk about? You haven't talked to them for so long, but now it's a great opportunity, because now you're going to call them. Hey, I was looking here at your name and I see that you bought your home how many years ago, and I just want to touch base and see how you're doing. I hope that you're doing safe and you're staying safe and healthy through this. And they feel so appreciated. And that's, hold on, I don't know what happened here. Yeah. And I felt that was a very, very good thing to do. And they felt very appreciated. And I've been receiving several calls because of that.
Good. Excellent. So what percentage of your business out of the 85 transactions came from past client and sphere in 19?
I would say about 30%, because some of them came because they were my past clients, but some of them were sellers that became buyers.
Got it.
Right?
Got it.
So
So about 25 transactions.
Yeah.
That sound right? And how many people in your database?
About 400.
Okay.
And this is
So-
what I do. I clean up my database a lot, and I'm thinking I try to increase, but when I see, okay, these people, I don't want to work with them anymore, so I clean them up, or I keep cleaning them up, but they are a little bit tighter, better database, I guess.
Okay. Well, so that's interesting. So going into COVID-19, your database was bigger than 400, and you started working on making it smaller. Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
Okay.
It was bigger before, and not before COVID. It's like this. Every year I have to add more people to my database, which I do.
Okay.
But some of those people I touch base, and it's like they don't answer the phone, or so I start deleting them. I don't
Sure.
keep them there anymore,
Okay.
or I don't send any cards anymore to those people. I'm constantly looking at my database and only keeping the people that I know they're going to be there for me if I call them. I'm always cleaning, maintaining that database, but
right.
always adding, but making sure that when I call them, they're going to be there.
Perfect. So during COVID, you made it even more of an effort to touch your people by phone, by email, by text. How did you do that?
Mostly by phone.
Okay.
And some of them, if I couldn't reach the first time, I was just doing the slide dial and leaving them a message.
What's a slide dial? Sorry.
Slide dial is it's a program that you call, and it goes directly to voice message. Okay, so if I tried the first 2 times and I couldn't get them to answer the call, so the third time I said, I'm just going to leave them a message. and I left
Got
them
it.
a message only. So
Okay,
some of those
so
people
you
were
don't
just-
leave a message on the first 2 times you call?
The first 2 times I leave them a message on the first time, but then if I cannot get hold of them, let's say that I have already gone through the 400 people that I had to call, and I'm going to try to call them again if I haven't heard from them. And then next time I'm going to leave a slide dial message. That's
You
what
were
I try
able to
do.
generate some business because of those calls that you were making to your past clients
Yes.
here, correct? Got it.
Yes.
Okay. So during COVID, how many properties do you think you sold and listed?
I sold 10 properties during COVID, and I listed 8 properties so far.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That is really, really good marketing stuff coming at, you can do that during, if you can do that during a quarantine, what can you do without a quarantine? Exactly. Good stuff.
Well, I think maybe
All right.
because I have a good coach.
He's a great guy.
Steve Powers keeps me on my toes. Like I have to really do a good job.
Exactly. Good. All right. So questions for Silvia. Questions for Silvia.
Well, Neil, a question came in on the chat line asking, what's a good schedule for an agent who's used to coming into the office who is now working from home?
Good.
I don't think that the time that you start from your home should change, because I come to my office at 7:15 every morning, because at 7:30 I do have the role play, and I like to role play from my office. And I don't have my distractions at home, like my cat and whatever. So I think that if you do the right things every single day, the right thing will happen some of the time, right? So I'm thinking that you have to do those things every single day. If you're going to start from your house, you still have to start at the same time. I don't think you should change. It's still your schedule. You're just prospecting or starting from a different place.
Awesome. What is your morning schedule, if you don't mind, Silvia?
Well, I wake up at 6 every morning. I am at my office at 7, no later than 7:15 every day. And then at 7:30, I am role playing. I role play every day. And at 8 o'clock, I'm calling. So sometimes a little bit earlier than 8 o'clock, I'm calling. I want to be the first to reach the expireds. And so I'll call for 2.5, 3 hours, depend. I will have some breaks in between. It's being a driver, I think it's very hard for me to keep the thing going for so long. It's too boring for me. It's I can't convince myself that it's difficult, but it's what I do. I take my breaks and then I come back, refresh, get a coffee, and then start again. And I try to do this so that I get at least one appointment. And sometimes I get an appointment, it's not even with sellers, with the buyers sometimes, because if I couldn't get anybody to respond or set up an appointment, then I call that buyer and say, look, that property came on the market, let's just go there and check it out. So something like that. I just want to get something under contract. And it doesn't matter if it's a buyer or a seller. That's what I'm trying to do.
Got it. Great. Other questions for Silvia, please?
I have a question. This is Tess. Silvia, hi, thank you. What motivates you every day to meet your goal?
Great question.
Well, thank you. That's a great question. Well, I have my goals in front of me pretty much all the time, right? I something like this. Let me see if I have it here. Oh, okay, right here. Can you see? Hold on.
Sure. Why
I don't know
don't
if
you
you
read
guys
it? Can you read it?
You can just read
Yeah,
it.
it's not coming out.
Okay, so I put here income goal $1 million. I want to get the Remax Diamond Award. I want to pay off my home mortgage. I want to buy a multifamily property. I want to sell 100 properties. I want to be within the top 10 in the county, take my family skiing at Park City again, and take my family to Europe. So I like to look in my goals all the time because that inspire me. I think that we have to keep those things in front of us because what happens most of the time, I see people here in US, I think that people are a little bit impatient. They trade what they want the most with what they want today. So let's say they want to buy that very nice car. They want to buy, let's say, BMW 750. But you know what? They can't wait to make a certain number of transactions. So I said, look, if I make this extra $100,000 by May, okay, I'm gonna buy that car. If you make it, go ahead and buy it. But the problem is they are not willing to do that, so they settle for something less. And I think that people are not patient to learn, and they just want whatever is today. And I don't agree with that. I think, you know what, you have a plan in your mind, work hard to get it because it's gonna make you feel so good when you achieve that point. And I think that's what I learned with Mike is to be patient. Yeah.
That's great. I wrote that down. Trade what they want the most with what they want today. That is so powerful. Huge.
Yeah.
Good job. Great answer. Good question, Tess. Thank you. What else do we have out there for Silvia? Go ahead, Iris.
Hi, this is Iris. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Silvia. My question is, Silvia, you list so many homes and you still help buyers. How do you work out your coordinate or work out your schedule?
I think that, great question, by the way. That's a very good question because a lot of people struggle with that. If you focus on your schedule, like in the morning, you're going to concentrate on setting up the appointments and doing all those things every day the same way, and you schedule, let's say my schedule is like this. If I am going to meet with a seller, I'm going to meet either at 1 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, or 5 o'clock. So if I know that I'm going to have a buyer to show properties that day, so I'm going to show them at 1 and I'm going to meet with the seller at 5 o'clock. So that's how I'm going to do it. Or if I'm going to meet with the seller at 1 o'clock, I'm going to try to schedule buyers at 5 o'clock. So I have that time in between. But I think I organize my day very well, but it's so strange. Although I sold that many homes last year, I still felt that there were so many